with Beard. Hey, podcast kittens, it's Cathy Cat.
Ladybeard, welcome again to another enthralling installment of Cat with Beard. Yes, here we are.
The crowd goes wild.
Ladies, gentlemen, other friends, this is incredible. How are you, young lady, Cathy Cat?
I'm wonderful.
You look fantastic today.
I love your dress.
Oh, God bless. High five.
So cute.
High five and your dresses. Yeah,
Yeah, we
I'm
both
doing
realized we both have bunnies on our
double
dresses.
Double bunny.
Yeah.
I'm doing the old body line today.
Yep, and
line
we're going the baby,
body.
the stars shine
Look at
bright.
the baby. They're my friends. All right, good stuff. This is amazing. Look at this,
Hey.
ladies and gentlemen. Who would have thought, hey, 15 years ago, who would have thought we'd all be sitting here right now, right here, doing this? I didn't, that's for sure. Did you?
No,
This
who would
is
have
out
thought?
of control.
I mean,
This
we've
is
both
some-
been here in Japan for 8 years.
8 flipping years.
We realized both 8 years.
Bang, blow it up. That's what I'm
8
talking
years
about.
in Japan.
Years. It's a
And-
magic number.
And we're going to squeeze those 8 years and give you the juice out of those 8 years. And today's
my
topic
goodness.
is about the entertainment industry. But before that, we got some really cool reactions from you guys listening to the podcast.
We did.
Including who gave you the Get the Duck Out Bird photo?
Oh, the Get the Duck Out bird! We found the Get the Duck Out bird.
Yes!
Hey, you can go to my Twitter if you want to see the Get the Duck Out bird. I put it on my Twitter, and you would think that the subliminal meaning of that would be stop looking at my Twitter, but that's not actually what I was going for at all. You can look at my Twitter as much as you like. In fact, I'd encourage you to do so more. If you know what we're talking about, you can go listen to episode number, what was it?
It was 2. Episode 2.
Go listen to
Get the
episode
Duck Out
two.
Bird. Yeah.
Cat with Beard.
I actually got tweeted to be another picture with a bird that was holding a plum, saying, is it maybe that one? Is the plum important? Who gave you the Get the Duck Bird Out photo?
Shiori.
Oh, right. Thank you. Good job.
Manager got it
Good
done. Let's hear it
job.
for Shiori. Shiori, getting the job done.
Efficient,
Day
Shiori.
by day, bit by bit. My goodness.
I need now to print this one out and stick it on my wall for
Oh, my
whenever,
goodness.
people come to kind of sell you their religion or stuff.
Tell you their religion. Do you have that problem a lot in Japan?
Not as much
Religious
as in Germany.
salespeople?
Oh, salespeople can be very persistent. You get them more on the phone, right?
I deliberately, so in my apartment, they installed one of those little video comm things so that you can, like from inside, you can do the press the button, see who's outside thing, right?
Yes.
But the thing is, inside, you have to plug it in. Otherwise, it does not function.
Oh, so you just pull it out.
Well, yeah, exactly right. I just pulled it out, and now people are like pressing it, going, it doesn't function, and then they just leave.
Or was it Irisu? I heard something like that. You are there, but you pretend you're not. You see the picture, and you're like, not you.
Not you.
Not today. Not happening.
Not happening.
No.
Goodbye. Leave my life. Exit that way. Exit
goodbye.
left. So now it's okay. So entertainment. So
Entertainment industry. Yes.
Being a television presenter yourself, young lady. Now you how much involvement have you had in the Japanese kind of TV industrial complex? Because a lot of your stuff's on the internet, eh?
Yeah, I think what was interesting was I touched down in Japan before I even worked here. I was just there as a student. And I was at the airport and the crew approached me and said, why did you come to Japan? You know
course.
them, right?
I know them.
You wa Nani Shini Nippone is one of those programs. They used to literally be at Narita Airport all day and try to catch foreigners that look interesting. And I caught their interest. And
Well,
I
that's
came
good.
there like, 14 hours, no sleep, looking like trash. And they were like, she looks interesting.
Is that secretly their ploy to get foreigners at their worst?
At the worst. Definitely at the
Maybe
worst.
it's actually part of like a Koan program to catch spies entering Japan. Maybe it's what actually.
If
the
they look
Koan
fresh,
is
they're too prepared.
exactly. The Koan is the Japanese version of like FBI or something like that, right? So maybe that's what it's all about. Maybe it's just a cover. It's not a TV show at all.
They just find filtering out the suspicious people.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
they used to be there all day until Narita Airport was like, bro, please.
You're
Like,
gonna have to.
bro, please.
Gonna
Not
have
every
to
day.
allow our passengers some space to breathe.
Also, a little bit inside info there. It looks like it's different directors with different actual companies, and they're kind of battling each other for the more interesting foreigners.
Oh, is that
So
right?
you might film an entire feature on a foreigner, and then they're like, well, those other foreigners from company A, B are way more interesting than your foreigners, and then you might not even make it on airtime.
So anyone who's interested in kickstarting their Japanese show business career, here's a bit of advice. Just show up, get your plane to fly into Narita, and turn up looking like a freak. Get yourself on TV from day one.
That might be actually is a good strategy. If you come and arrive at Narita Airport looking interesting, and they are around, they will pick up on you. They will pick up on you, and they have managed to find some very interesting people and some weird people. I think there's a little bit of a weird exposure too. The weirder you are, they're definitely more likely to pick you up. So that was. You've been on that program?
No, but when I first got here, I too had a approach the random foreigner experience. So I first got here, and it was I think it was like the end of October or something in the year that I got here. So I didn't know anything really about Japan life yet. I was still sorting myself out. In like week number 1 or something, when I was just walking around the streets, some TV crew stopped me and they're like, "We want to have you on camera." And I'm like, "Okay."
Were you dressed like this?
No, listen, I was pretty bogan looking at the time. Actually, I was looking pretty feral. I was all freaking unkept and uncouth and trying to figure out where the hell I was, what's going on. But they get me on camera, and they had one of those big screens on the building opposite where we were shooting, which has the temperature on it. And they're saying, "Today's 20 degrees, as you can see." I'm like, "Sure is." They're like, "How about that?" I'm like,
"What?" And you're supposed to react to that?
How about it? What do you reckon? Because they're like, "It's October and it's 20 degrees. It's unheard of." I'm like, "I just got here, man. I don't know what October here is like."
Exactly. How are you supposed to know?
October in my country is a totally different experience.
How is October in Australia?
It's getting warm.
That's the time when it kind of changes over, right? Yeah, I mean, how are you supposed to know? Okay.
Right. So, my Japanese was terrible at the time as well. So they're asking me in Japanese. So you're getting the whole, "What? Nani, nanka, atsui desu ka? Atsui?" You know, going all...
Oh, man.
That was my first TV experience.
Yeah. I still remember from the US, Nanishi Nippone, the goal was for me to find Lolita fashion friends in Japan. And but the place where it was getting changed into Lolita fashion, because I first had to buy it. I just touched it down. I didn't have anything in Japan yet. I didn't bring it over. I thought I was going to buy myself something there. And they were like, no, we need to shoot this quick. So... I bought myself something and got changed in this cute cafe, and it was like on a loop with like a cute character going, yeah, something, blah, blah, blah. And then this director like in black, and then his assistant like sitting there very awkwardly, and they were waiting in that super kawaii environment. They were waiting there for an hour for me to get ready and transform.
It's not a quick process making yourself delightful. So hang on, I'm sorry. You get off the plane. Immediately, they're like, "We want to shoot you in your Lolita stuff." So what, you went into Harajuku, you bought something, you came back to the airport?
Well, I was literally like, "Please give me give me some time to touch down." They're like, "We would like to film this within this week." So on another day in the week, I head then out and was buying clothes and all of that, and I got ready and hit the streets. And
this young woman is an ambitious go-getter. She snapped up that opportunity when it arose, didn't you?
Definitely. I mean, it's if you get the opportunity, why would you say no? And it sounds like fun. I was like, "Oh, let's do this." I mean, even if it's just this moment of those very serious-looking people being in this cute pink Harajuku cafe, totally out of place, waiting for me for an hour while a cute Japanese character keeps repeating on a very tight loop a cute story.
You kawaii-ified this very serious TV crew.
Exactly. Yeah. And apparently it was interesting enough to make it on air.
Wow, that's good. Made it on air.
Made it on air.
But you came here, you were coming to study. You did not have the intention of doing TV, did you?
Oh, no. I came here as like a holiday during my student days.
Right, I see.
So I had like a host family. I already knew everyone. And that was the only reason I could stay. Otherwise, I couldn't have afforded that. So.
I see. Okay, but then you did your studying, and then you found yourself on Japanese TV somehow. How did that process?
Well, when I came back here to Japan to actually work here, I got another opportunity, which was a program called Tokyo Extra, and they did something really interesting. Unfortunately, they're not doing it anymore, but they did like a dual thing. They would have the episode late at night in Japan, and then have a Japanese studio and an English studio at the same time. And the English studio would then at the same time live stream.
Oh,
So it would be live on Japanese TV and live on YouTube in English. And in between, they would link up from time to time. And we filmed a couple of episodes beforehand that would him in his little bits and pieces, for example, how to eat yakiniku or something. Those would then be translated for the Japanese audience. They would be kept in English for the English audience. And that was a really, really interesting program. I did that a couple of times.
And that was your entrance into...
That was one of the big starts. I think that was like the first time it was not just YouTube, because I was already working with YouTube for Ask Japanese. But that was like the first time it was like TV. And it was a different vibe. You could really, really tell how different it is.
It's a very, very different vibe.
Very different vibe. So what was your first year? After being totally disorientated and ask, what day are hot in October?
I mean, I got here to do my heavy metal career, right? So I kind of got here, and when I got organized with my first manager, first thing that happened really was I got a couple of shows going on, and then I got famous on the old Twitter, because photos of me went famous on the old Twitter. So then off the back of that, we got booked to do various TV, both internet TV and, TV.
Hold on. You said you came here with metal, not with stuntman, not with wrestling. So how did you put that in as well?
Well, so Ladybeard is a wrestler and a metal singer, so I came here with those two things in mind.
You already had them in your suitcase.
That's
kind of
exactly right.
Okay, and then they were like, okay, does wrestling, does metal, we love you. So what was like the thing that spiked the Twitter feed?
So the thing that spiked the Twitter feed was my old manager was a photographer, and so she took my photos, and some like studio level photos, and we put them on the internet, and they went viral. So that happened, and so then from off the back of that, then a bunch of TV offers came in. You see.
For those who don't know, had you already debuted in your wonderful style that you're having right now?
Because I debuted this when I lived in Hong Kong previously. You see, so I'd already been doing Ladybeard for several years before I got to Japan. But that was my Japanese debut as such when I went viral on the Twitters, the Twitty Twoot. So that happened. Then we got invited onto a bunch of TV, and at the start, like my Japanese was still terrible because I just gotten here. So at the start, I had, I think at the start they gave me a few translators and whatnot, but pretty quickly I was just out there on my own, still couldn't really speak Japanese. So thrown in like to these big studios with a heap of like genin and whatnot.
Oh my gosh.
Doing all the things that they do and not understanding the context. So this is one of the big things that I found.
How do you keep up with them? That's one of the first things I would ask, because I've been into one of those programs where it's like all those. Imagine it being like a wall and people sitting like in rows of four. It's like a little bit of a studio auditorium in the days when you were still allowed to sit close to people, and and people sit in this little box, and every one of them talks louder than the other, is funnier than the other, and you're trying to keep up with it, and it's really hard, especially if you don't speak Japanese.
It's very hard, man. So you got someone on the other side of the room, and they'll ask you a question, and then like the 10 dudes sitting behind you just start shouting in your ears. You're like, what the hell? So you're trying to
get the duck out, bird.
I didn't hear what you said. Please repeat question. And then they all shout again because they're like, this idiot can't understand Japanese. And I'm like, no, you guys won't shut up, so I can't hear what the person over there is saying. They ask it again, and they just keep shouting in your ear. Like, shut up! Damn it! I can't hear what's going on!
Right. So everyone is trying to capture the opportunity to say something.
Yeah, it really seems like
everyone a little bit there.
Camera roll. Now everyone make noise and try and get noticed. So when you're not, when you're yet to be introduced to that system, it really is very kind of, what the hell's going on? Why is everyone shouting so much?
Whoa. Wow. How did you manage to keep up with them?
I didn't.
No, okay.
I was on TV. I looked like a moron. That's what happened. My first experiences of Japanese TV. I went on like, what?
Wrestled them to the ground.
What? And then, but this is the other thing. They would always say, don't worry, if anything goes wrong, just pick one of the comedians and kick his ass.
Oh.
Just physically assault him.
Were you allowed to do
what?
that?
They told me to.
Did you
like,
do
just
it?
go and kick that guy's ass.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was what I was meant to do. But beforehand, I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? I just want to clarify, because in my country, if you do that and it's not welcome, that's a big old lawsuit coming your way.
Lawsuit. coming
just
away,
wanna make sure.
definitely not a good idea. Yeah, I would be very worried about. But I have the feeling that, especially here in Japan, especially with comedians, anything goes.
Well, it seems to be that's
you can
the job.
humiliate them, you can like hurt them, and it seems to be okay. I don't quite understand.
That seems to be the job. Being a Japanese comedian seems to be putting your hand up for voluntary torture.
Yeah.
Japanese contingency? Is that a reasonable
Is that
assessment?
thing? Yes. Is it
I'd say
like
it's
you're
a
a
reasonable
comedian?
assessment.
We're allowed to
Volunteer
torture you?
torture.
Yes,
We were.
yeah.
I was at a restaurant eating dinner the other night, and they had the gain-ins on the TV, and it's like one of them. They put him in a box, and they put him in like the van in a box, and he doesn't know where he's going or what's going on, right? And then
This is kidnapping on a higher level.
the box out of the van, and he doesn't know where he's going to be or what he's going to do. And they take him to a bridge, and they open the box, and he has to bungee jump.
What?
He didn't know what was going on at all.
Oh, God.
No consideration for, do you have a phobia of heights? Are you scared of bungee cords? Nothing like that. But apparently that's the job, right?
Yeah,
it's
to
just,
be-
well, something's going to happen. Sign your life away, and then...
I feel like in the Japanese entertainment industry, there seems to be tiers. And at the lowest button seems to be the comedians. Like, they really get the hardest part. They have to do so many terrible things. It's like jungle camp all over again. Like, I'm famous, get me out of this box. And then it's like other things you're famous for, like the idols and stuff. They're getting treated way better. And then very high up seem to be the joyu, the actresses and the actors. They're like, oh...
They seem to get treated quite...
You correct me if I'm wrong, but this is how it feels, at least to me.
Yeah, I mean, this was said to me when I first got here. It's a culture that loves watching celebrities in pain. So, is that accurate? Japanese contingency?
Everyone
Giggles and nods from the Japanese
giggles and
contingency.
nods from the Japanese
So
team
once
outdoors.
someone's famous,
Oh,
they just want to
God.
see you in awful positions, being humiliated and put through pain.
Mentioning pain, I remember that was one of my first years in Japan, and I switched on the TV, and it was like, the torture dinner. And I'm like, what is this? So it was like this, like two comedians, and they battle each other who can eat this 5-star meal for longer. They have like
For
a little
longer?
for longer. They put like a little big thing on your head that measures your brain scan, your reactions to it. And then the other comedian, so one comedian will try and eat. So you're the comedian who's eating. And the other comedian has to do something to stop you from eating and have your brain react.
Oh, wow, okay.
And the worst thing I've seen is like them burning themselves with hot water.
Moly. Wait, they
Or-
burned the other guy? They
No,
burned
themselves. They're
How
doing
would
it.
that
You're
stop
not allowed
him
to touch.
eating?
Look, yeah, well, I would try and get you so shocked or like your
I see,
brain
I
to
see,
react.
I
That's why
see.
the brain scan comes in.
I see.
And the worst thing I've seen is them putting pegs all over their face, going close to the other person and ripping the pegs off in one go. And see you reacting, and the other person had to try not to react to that. And I was like, why?
So you can... Hang on. Why? Michelin star Munchy Munch person,
Mm-hmm.
they can see the other comedian.
Yeah, this comedian, they are around your table. I can walk all
okay.
around you, but I'm not allowed to touch you.
I was under the
can
impression
be,
I had
like,
like
in
a
your
giant
face.
helmet on to read
Oh, no,
my
it's
brain
just like the
scan.
top for the brain
I
scan.
see, okay,
So
I'm sorry.
You are
Right.
still in the vicinity, you'll see me, and you'll try to eat your first-class Wagyu steak there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try and hop all around you. Oh, sorry.
Punch the microphone. Cathy Cat, punch the microphone! My
Sorry,
God.
guys.
This microphone is a rookie Japanese comedian.
Exactly.
Getting assaulted.
Yeah, you
Assaulted by
wanted this.
seniors.
You wanted this. You wanted
That's
this, right? You
Welcome
wanted
to
be
show
famous.
business, my friend.
That's a thing of really tough in Japanese show business. And also one thing is, it seems to be anything goes of being the butt of every joke. People get like a lot of stick for being like divorced ones.
I haven't noticed the divorce, but that's interesting.
It's okay to make a joke about someone being divorced, and also it's okay to make jokes about someone being fat. And I'm like, you can't do this in Western TV.
This
You
is the-
can't
yep.
do this in Western. You can't do this.
That was the biggest shock for me about the whole thing. There's no political correctness
No.
whatsoever.
Oh, no.
The opposite.
No.
Just whatever's... Well, it's like a freak show, and it's just laugh at the freaks.
It's
brrr.
rough. And I'm like, some of them, they're like, they're the butt of every joke, and they're laughing along to that. And I'm like, how can you not be hurt?
can see their soul breaking on the inside.
Just like, oh no.
The other one I hear a lot is bald men. They say that their head is shiny, so
Yeah,
everyone
they're kind
goes
of living it.
and covers their eyes when a
It's
bald
like,
man
oh,
takes off his hat.
mabushi. Yeah, that happens a lot in anime too. I think they're making like jokes about that. Like the sun reflects of someone's bald head or something.
We've
Anyway,
mixed up all the topics of these 4 episodes we have planned into one super episode. We're all over the place.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Move on to our next topic.
You know what? Shall we just pull
I will tell you-
pull the comedian episode forward? Would that be
Right.
okay? Like,
I will-
comedy it is.
Comedy it is. I will tell you this though, on my one of my first shoots here, I was out with it was like a 3-piece or what I gain in a trio, and they had told me, all right, that dude, we want you to assault him, physically assault him. If he does anything upsets you, assault him. And I was like, okay, but I was apparently not assaulting him to adequate standards.
You were not assaulting him enough.
No, so at one point I was looking down the camera and I'm smiling and presenting and talking to the camera. He walks up behind me and just as hard as he can, kicks me in the backside. I'm like, what the I couldn't believe it. So I'm like,
So he
"Oh,
wanted
all right."
to have more pain?
He assaulted me, so I would assault him.
Hold on a second. Is Japanese comedy some kind of weird SM scenario here that we didn't know about?
Japanese contingency? Is
it?
Japanese comedy a weird SM scenario?
Is that what it is?
All the Japanese producers are
hurt
currently
me
laughing
more.
and looking at one another, trying to figure out how to react. Like, look at every one of them. Every
All
one
of them.
of them.
It seems to be like Japanese comedy. Okay, hurt me more.
Yeah, it seems to be all about pain and humiliation.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
what it is.
Since we are at comedy, I'm going to continue with comedy. I learned a little bit about comedy. I'm going to go. So, first of all, in comedy, it's like the base of all Japanese comedy is there's a boke and
yes.
a tsukomi.
Yes.
The boke is the one who makes the jokes or says something kind of weird or fluffy or airy-headed. And then the tsukomi is the one who corrects what the boke says. But in my opinion, it's like one person does something goofy and makes the joke, and the other person points out what the joke is. Like,
I would agree with that. And then the tsukomi, usually I say, so the tsukomi will say something relatively normal, the boke says something moronic, and the tsukomi hits him in the head.
yeah, that's
I
a
see a lot
common
of that
one.
as well.
Wait a second.
A lot of common.
Like, that's the classic that you guys know from Takeshi's Castle. Sort of. I need to do this now. I need to do this. Sorry, this is a paper. This is actually a paper for our class. I am so sorry for our class first.
You go ahead and assault me.
Ding, dun, dun,
I'll say
dun.
something.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'll say
You're
something
ready for
boke-ish.
this? Yeah, exactly. Say
You say
something
something
boke.
skoma-ish, and I'll say something boke-ish. This is completely unplanned, people. Anything could happen.
I'm ready. Wait.
You know what my favorite tree is?
What?
I don't know. I don't have a punchline for this joke.
How about we
I started this before I was ready to complete it. There we go. Perfect. That worked out perfectly.
There we go. The prime of Japanese comedy. I mean, comedy.
This is terrible, isn't it? Look at this.
terrible.
Cathy Cat, Ladybeard, you're both fired. Get out. My God.
Oh my gosh.
Mixed up our episodes. We totally.
Yeah, well, you need to probably now say you didn't hit me hard enough because apparently this is some kind of torture scenario here. But that's tsukomi, boke and tsukomi. That's like the general. You see that even in anime because a lot of you guys are probably seeing anime. When someone says something funny and the other one points out what was funny about that or what was weird about that one. That is like a typical pattern that you see actually quite a lot, and you get people who will sometimes, in Japan, you might have this hat, someone around you who says something funny, and it's the reaction they kind of want. Like a reaction from you saying, what the hell? Like, do you get that?
I don't think so, but you are right that the comedy seems to revolve around reactions to things.
I think that's something that at least is in common, right? We like reactions, we like people's reactions. Reaction movies are doing particularly very good.
Oh, good
on
point. Actually,
YouTube.
on the old YouTube, that's a good point.
So I think the reaction of someone is like something we still want, and I think the viewers want that too.
There's a lot of someone's eating something and then they've put a whole lot of spicy something in the food and they don't know, and then the person spits it out and is all like, "No, it's so hot!" and that kind of thing. There's a lot of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, we have apparently other techniques of boke. There is a tendon, and I thought that was something to eat, but a tendon is actually a person who persistently makes the joke over and over again.
Naruhodo.
And then there's the san ochi, falling down 3 times. To make the similar, so that person makes the similar remark twice, but in the 3rd time, they say something completely different.
Oh, okay. So they would fall down twice. I mean, they will fall down twice. And they fall down only once.
Ah, Something like
I am amazing at this.
breaking
Yes.
expectations. Okay, there's also that one I remember from high school when I came here as an exchange student, which is pretty much there is like, okay, someone has to buy sweets for everyone.
Okay.
And no one wants to do that, right? But it kind of goes like, person A goes, oh, I'll buy sweets for everyone.
Okay.
Person B goes, I'll buy sweets for everyone. Person C, oh yeah, me too, me too, me too, me too. So what do you do?
Okay, thanks.
Too fast, yeah. They're waiting for one person. Actually, so for example, one person is let in on the joke and one person is not let in on the joke. So the person who's not let in on the joke is like the one who's like, they actually want to pay.
I see.
So for example, we wouldn't
don't
know.
let him in on the joke, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty...
It's a bit rough.
That sounds a little bit like coercion. I'm just saying.
It's
Do that at a government level, I'm pretty sure you go to prison.
Oh damn. It seems to be a bit of a peer pressure thing of like, I'll do it. Everyone lifts their hand, so you're like, all right. And you like, lift your hand. Come on. Oh, okay, there you go.
Okay, now
that
I've
kind of.
I see.
There we
Draw
go.
the short straw. I didn't realize they didn't. There was one person who was not in on it. My goodness.
Yeah, this poor person.
If you're sitting at a poker table and you don't know who the patsy is, you, my friend, are the patsy.
I don't know what a patsy is.
Patsy is that person.
Oh,
the
right,
person who's
okay.
gonna get screwed.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also deochi, which is the person who just comes onto and everyone laughs.
Yeah, actually, some of them can be quite funny, though.
Bob Sapp, maybe? Does he do that? Does he have like a special stage thing? Because
does
I
Bob
had to
Sapp
look up so much Bob Sapp. I got so much pain for not knowing Bob Sapp straight away. I'm so sorry, guys.
I'm sorry to bring this pain into your life. However, you really should have known who Bob is. You brought him up again, so now we have to go through this all again.
He would be like a
Bob
person
Sapp.
that would come into, and makes a comment and like maybe does that face and does like something like that, and then everyone would like have a laugh.
A lot of the time he kind of breaks through a wall or something, charges in, and then picks up one of the comedians and runs away with him or something.
Yep, that would probably be a good deochi. Is that a good deochi?
Nah,
No?
Disagreement from the Japanese contingency.
Some people
all
are
right.
laughing, some people are no.
Clearly, we cannot write scripts
Yeah,
for
the
Japanese
comedy
it
otaku
seems.
is saying no right now.
We've
Comedy
both been
otaku
fired.
is saying no.
We've both been fired, both been relegated. Get to the back. Be one of the 10 noisy guys behind Ladybeard. We just got fired to that position.
Which brings us to the topic that it is really, really hard to translate humor in
It is.
any language because
is.
German humor is different from British humor, is different from Japanese humor. And the more you translate it, the less funny it does get. I think we're trying to bring you guys the Japanese humor right now, but we have to kind of explain it. And I'm not sure if it translates that well.
Yeah, when a joke needs explaining, a lot of the time it loses its punch, doesn't it?
Yes.
Loses its punch and or duty.
Let me see. So, for example, let me see. I have like
Both
a
of
bit
us are looking at these scripts going,
like,
"Whoa,
oh, okay.
Hold
on.
paper
Okay, yeah, we're learning here right now.
Yeah, this is, hey, ladies and gentlemen, you were seeing this all happen. The comedy otaku producer has entered the room.
What's happening? Check what? I'll get. Oh, okay.
Comedy otaku producer, do you want to make
us
guest appearance?
Give
so you
us
can
a
talk
good
about your
comedy moment.
No!
No?
The
Oh.
producer of the show is a comedy otaku. He loves Japanese comedy. We just invited him into the booth. No? Camera shy,
This
microphone
would have been
shy.
your chance.
No?
All right,
Not
well.
interested? No? Not going to do it?
Nope.
See you later.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay,
Someone's
okay.
got to work the board. That board doesn't work itself. Good point. It's
Exactly.
important point.
Good
Important
point.
Well raised.
Right.
Well raised.
Let me see if there's another technique that you guys might not know. Timing is crucial, which is probably with everything.
So most comedy, that's right. Pretty important.
Ordinary tsukkomi would be nandeanen, like what the heck?
And then, of course.
That might work in certain situations, like what the heck?
What the hell is that all about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noritsukomi is pretend to agree with the boke and then correct them in a funny way. Okay, so I'm handing out this one here, this pen instead of chopsticks. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
You want to be the tsukomi or the boke?
Where are my lines? I'll
we
be
go.
the bookie. Here we are. I see. All right. I'll be the bookie.
Okay.
So all right. So you're eating your noodles, nah?
Oh yes. Well, first of all, you need something to eat your noodles with.
So I do.
Yes.
Can I have some chopsticks, please?
Oh.
The eating of my noodles.
Sure. Use this.
This is a pen. We
I
are
think that was
winning some
painful.
awards
oh, no,
over
we're
here, my
failing
friend.
at this. I think we just killed our director.
This is,
I think our director's like, oh no, this is. Oh yeah, he's shaking his head. See, you should have come in and talked with us. You had the chance to save us here. No. Okay. I think we're gonna have to take a class with our director.
It might be a good time for us to mention that neither of us really get Japanese comedy.
That's, I think, a valid point. I don't quite get it. I think the only kind of comedy that I really get and enjoy is the kind of situation comedy.
Okay.
When, like, you know, that you hear this, like, the cicadas in the background because someone just came in and just done something really awkward and that awkwardness. And people are just standing there in that awkward moment and it makes you laugh so much because that's something that happens in real life. Like, a situation comedy when you're like, oh, okay, because this is awkward.
And there's silence.
So awkward. And it makes it funny, right? So that kind of scenario.
But there's a lot of, in Japanese comedy, there seems to be a lot of kind of language-oriented comedy as well. A lot of kind of like word-oriented comedy. A friend of mine did one recently. There's a kind of a tree called a hijigi, and he made the joke hijigi. It's like a tree that comes out of your elbow or something.
Okay.
Yes,
there's one thing what I find really confusing is sometimes Japanese comedians, they have one joke. And they can get famous with one joke. Yep. And they go on tours with one joke. And like for Westerners, they have like usually a full-on routine with like different sections in their programs and like, you know, and then like a theme around it. But some just managed to do one with like some kind of one joke, and they extend it somehow so much that they go touring all around Japan to just tell that one joke. That's when you know you've went through enough pain and suffering that you made it.
I think the appeal of that is everyone, so it's like one punchline essentially, and everyone knows what the punchline is.
And everyone wants to feel that punchline in real life.
That's
IRL
right.
punchline.
But also it's the anticipation of the punchline, isn't it? That's the part that's fun, is when the comedian sets up some situation and you say to yourself, how's he going to get from this starting point to that punchline? And you see that, and then you hit the punchline and
oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. People make entire careers out of
that
single
one
punchlines.
punchline. And if it's a good one, it stays with you for a while.
What was it? There was one dude from a while ago had one which was Punzer. Do you remember that? You guys know what that is, yeah, the Punzer man. What was that, like 20 years ago or something?
I know, it's Komanets.
Komanets. I thought it was
That
Punzer.
was pretty much it.
What's Komanets?
Yep.
Oh, you know this far better than I do.
Yeah,
You can explain, joke, go.
I don't even know. You
Oh,
just do
it.
that pose.
But everyone does that now.
But everyone does
always
it.
does
Everyone
that
knows
at all times.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Or
People just walk up to you like at the party and they'll be like, I don't know,
yeah.
like, what the
Or I think it's like a joke that kids would enjoy. And also there was one like Kancho. That was like little kids, and that's dangerous. That is a dangerous joke. Because if you ever taught kids in Japan, all the kids know Kancho, which pretty much means to poke this up your butt. And if you're a teacher, this is likely going to happen to you, that someone comes and tries to attack your peach by doing Kancho.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Children come and try to put their digits up your rear end. Yeah. This happens to teachers? This is an actual thing? In my country, that's called assault. The amount of assault we have discussed in this episode is relentless. This should just be called the assault by other names episode.
It is.
Japanese comedy is, including with the children, as done on teachers. Your children come and they will assault you.
Try and poke you up the butt, yes. And again, Japanese comedy and pain go hand in hand somehow.
Let me tell you something, my friend. If I were the teacher in that situation, that child is going to understand the meaning of pain in 1 second. Oh my God. Try that thing, it's going to be dish, 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 dish. My Lord. It's a good thing Ladybeard ain't a teacher, eh? Did you see that? The demon just came out. Did you see that? I'm like, oh my God, where is this little monster? It's going to die. How are we going for time? Should we wrap this up?
Yes.
My God, I have no idea what we just spent half an hour talking about.
We talked about Japanese comedy.
Happened?
But, guys, if you would like to tell us something about the podcast, feel free to send us a message. We're actually waiting for your message. We're legit waiting for your message. So if there's anything you would like us to talk about in our next podcast, send it over to us. Our email address is nippon@jrqr.net, and I'm going to spell this out for you because apparently a couple of you guys misspelled this because I didn't get enough emails. So NIPPON @JOQR.net. That's it.
And if people want to go to the internet and find Cathy Cat, what do they put into the internet?
They type in Cathy Cat with a C, Cathy Cat _ TV, or just Cathy Cat. You generally find me all around the internet, as well as on Japan Railway Journal and Ask Japanese. And just find me. And how about you, Ladybeard?
You could go to the internet and you could put in Ladybeard _Japan for all your Ladybeard needs. And while you're there, you may as well check out my pop group Babybeard. That's Ladybeard plus babies equals Babybeard at Babybeard _Japan. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. That is what has happened. That was an episode of Cat with Beard. Hey.
There we go. We tried to talk about Japanese comedy.
We'll see you next time. What's now? Wow, I don't know what's going to happen next time. We have to rearrange a plan completely.
Cat with
Beard! Auf Wiedersehen.
Tschüss.